Hi, Jim Gordon here at the Hamilton High Street Senior Residence. In the first of many segments we're going to do, we're going to talk about cooking. We're going to share some family recipes, all about family, about recipes, about sharing them. Our guest today is Kenson Ho, chef. First of all, welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're quite well. Have a round of applause for Kenson.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Okay, listen, we've got some very curious guests here to watch us today, and I'm assuming very hungry guests too.
I hope so.
Let's talk a bit about what you're going to do first.
Okay, today I'm going to do a stuffed deboned Cornish game hen. And it sounds complicated, and it's not really that complicated. All you need is patience. So to debone it, these Cornish game hen usually come in frozen. That's patience number one. You have to defrost it the day before. It's never defrost in room temperature, always defrost in the fridge area. And so it took me overnight at least. If it's better, it's like 2 days before you just put it in the fridge area. To start off, you just have to get to know the hen, the bird first. Okay. We start off with the wing, and we cut it off. We don't debone the wing, So I just twist, and a pair of scissors would be your best friend, in this type of job.
Right.
And it's always good to have a bowl there, because whatever you don't need, you just put over and twist. But it gets easier when you're more experienced with it. Now, this side is where the neck is, and this is where I need to cut it.
Yes, so you're going from the top right down.
Yes, and then you just cut along the way. And sometimes you just have to use a bit of force. Okay, so once that's open, then from the inside, you just cut along. Cornish game hen is, because it's a young bird, so the meat is a lot more tender, because it hasn't got the chance to run around too much, so it's not a very muscular bird,
Right.
So which makes it tender. And there's relatively a little bit more fat in it as well. Some people just cook it as if it's a turkey, and roast it. From now on, you just need to feel your way through the carcass, and then you just cut along. And it's okay to sometimes, because we are doing stuffed, Cornish game hen. So sometimes there are meat that's like loose, but you just put it back in. Yeah, it's not, it's no big deal. Yeah.
And this will feed how many when you're all done?
Okay, this bird is 1 kilo, so I think it would feed about 2 people as a full meal.
And you're really making sure that every bone possible is out of that.
Yeah, well, because afterwards you just have to feel your way through the bone to see if there's any small bones left over. You don't want to end up biting into it, because those would be nasty, sharp little bones. Okay, now we're all the bones out.
Okay.
So what I need to do is to feel my way through.
Just checking for less small bones, right?
Yeah, because there's chances are there are some, because when you break it, when you try to go through the bird, there are bound to be some that's left over. There's none this time. Get stuffing ready for this. So in the meantime, I'll just put it in the fridge.
So that's a note for everyone watching. So as soon as you finish that, it goes directly in the fridge.
Well, theoretically, there should be some stuffing ready for me to roll.
Okay, right. But you want to show, obviously, our audience and our viewers here
So now we talk about stuffing.
Okay. Which is what you've laid out here.
Yeah, so we have, you can do whatever you want with stuffing.
Right.
Because basically stuffing, the purpose of stuffing is when the bird is being baked, that it expands. But whatever flavor you want, it's up to you.
Right.
My rule of thumb is that it has to have something that expands. So in this case, I use bread. Some people, like Asians, they use sticky rice, because they expand too. But at the same time, you also want something that binds the stuffing together. And today, I'm using cheddar cheese because it melts and then it just binds all the stuffing together. Sticky rice does the same too. My other rule of thumb is it has to have something that's sweet and savory. So I am cooking mushroom and garlic, onion, carrots, but I'm also adding raisins, and this is dry mango.
And that gives what?
That gives it's a good balance of sweetness and savory when you eat it. Because you want every bite to be full of surprise. So basically, you're not really to cook it,
right?
But to soften it, because there will be more cooking when it's being wrapped.
Sure.
So never put garlic first because it burns really easily. Yeah. So I put onion. There. Tonight you can smell that.
I was going to say, this will be I'm not sampling, you're all sampling, but it'll be on my jacket tonight.
You always remember.
Yeah. So there's a particular order, so always garlic last, you were saying? Or
And not last, but not first.
Okay. So what goes in next then?
I would go carrots, then garlic. See you're taking a step down.
That's one ingredient to me that don't get along. So.
Oh, okay. And at any point when you feel that you need to, then you add salt and pepper.
Okay.
Yeah.
But obviously don't drown it in
No.
either.
Yeah. And then mushroom. Because mushroom takes a while to cook.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at all this thinking, and that's all going to work itself into what you just deboned.
Yes. So as you see, it's getting ready. Or softer. So I'm going to save some for the sauce that I'm going to prepare later on. And then I will add the rest, which is the bread,
I'm thinking cheese would cook very quick. How do you find with cheese cooking in a pan like this to get it from not being sticky? Is it just because you've got so much other food in there?
Yeah, because if you only have cheese, then it will stick right away. Yeah. But what I would do is I will also add some water as well. You can add broth, if you want.
Right.
The idea is to have as much moisture. The bread is going to absorb the moisture.
Sure.
But and then eventually it will make the meat moist. Yeah. So then you add cheese, and you don't have to worry about this not being like really cooked through because it's going to go into the oven for another 20-30 minutes.
Fabulous. We just wanted to show our audience here as well as the viewers. This is before and after. So this is what you just did.
Yes.
Stuffing
and
wise.
you're supposed to do it a little bit more, and then you put it in the fridge, because again, you should never stuff a chicken when the stuffing is hot. Here it is. Now, before I roll it, I'll show you what I have underneath this foil. Is this device?
Something I would see to have sushi or
sushi
rolls,
because it just helps when you roll it, to form it in a more uniform shape and also make it as tight as possible. So I put the foil over it, and then.
Okay, so next
Okay.
now you're gonna put the
So-
stuffing into the ham.
Yeah, so but before that, you need some flavor for the
Right,
chicken
okay.
as well. So I put a little bit of salt here and a bit of pepper. Now, you don't need a lot of stuffing, but enough to make it like sumptuous.
Right. Okay.
Okay?
So this, as you mentioned earlier, for people that may have forgotten, this has all been cooled off.
Yes,
So
all
you've got
been
the
cooled
cool
off, yeah.
dressing going into the cold
Yeah.
ham.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the stuffing is not cooking the meat.
Right.
it's-
Yes,
yeah.
right.
So now you lift it.
And if you can't see behind there, but he's
Yeah,
actually
with
using
the
that
help
roll.
of this roll, you lift it, and then roll it. And then what I usually do is like I pull,
Make sure, right,
Yeah.
right.
make sure it's as tight as possible, and then roll it further. And basically this step is to make sure it forms a shape, and then I tie the end. And again, it has to be in the fridge for 3-4 hours at
Okay.
least. Don't leave it there too long, So, and like magic, I've got one that is already done.
Okay.
Now the next step is I have strings here. Even though I've made it into a roll, by the time it's in the oven, at a certain temperature, this time it's 375. If I don't tie it, it will fall apart. So now trussing is not too difficult, but again, tedious, Tie it.
And the string is there just to make obviously sure that everything stays in place.
Yes. And also keep the shape.
Right. So now, because without that in the oven, it could go this way. It could,
Oh yeah, it could go all over the place.
All
yeah.
right. Okay. Okay. Fan on again. That means we're doing more stuff on the stovetop. This is the last step before
Yes,
the
that's right.
food goes into
Yeah.
the oven.
It's what we
Kenson,
wanted-
tell us what we're going to do.
Yeah. What we want to do is because chicken tends to be pale in color, so and to make it more interesting, I'm searing it. So hot pan. Step back.
Sure. Thank you.
And so this step, we're not really cooking it. So don't worry about it's still raw. I just want to add more color in it. So,
And how long would you do this, Kenson?
well, I just check. Usually 15 seconds or.
Oh, that little. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a lot. But you need to make sure that the pan is really hot.
Right.
To sear it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you see it's starting to brown.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I also see why you've got the strings on as well.
Yeah, because otherwise it will all fall apart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've already done quite a few, and I just add on to this.
While we're waiting on the hen to be fully cooked, there is an additional step that I neglected to mention to our viewers and our audience here. What's the last thing we're going to do while we're waiting on?
Okay, so after the hen is cooked, when we serve, we need sauce.
Oh, of
so,
course, yes.
So basically, the sauce the ingredients is very similar to the stuffing.
Okay.
So I'm just heating up the leftover stuffing, that I reserved aside earlier. And what I have here is just a mixture of some broth and very mild, very light cream.
Okay.
Yeah. So
just regular cream.
just regular, but it's like it's mixed with skim milk, so because we're into healthy eating,
Right, of course,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. So
You could also use soy and almond and stuff
that's
you
right.
want. Okay.
Yeah, So basically, it's just to give additional moisture to the
Of course,
meat.
yeah. And now, is the same thing kind of applies, you said, with the stuffing, though, that no rules when it comes to sauce? You can, do you have another couple of favorite ones you like?
Exactly. Like you can use a soya-based soy sauce,
Sure.
oyster sauce, what have you.
Excellent.
It's up to you. Basically, sauce is to just add moisture.
Right,
So
right.
of course, it should complement the stuffing. So my stuffing ingredient is very similar to the sauce, the ingredients for the sauce. But of course, if you want a mushroom stuffing, add a soy sauce, as a sauce.
Right, good point,
But
okay.
it has to complement. Yeah. So.
Next, we take the hen out of the oven. We've approached the final inning. I'm using a baseball metaphor. The food is out, smells spectacular, but we've got just a couple more small things to do.
Yep. So what we need to do is to cut the strings that we tied. So. And take caution that you don't cut the skin.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're taking very, very
Yeah.
big concern over that, right?
You don't want to break it.
Yeah. And this was in, you said, about 20, 25 minutes, right? Ovens
It
vary, obviously.
depends on different ovens.
Right. Well, that's really held it all together very nicely.
Yeah. And then you cut it up.
It's very tender too, isn't it?
So it's still very juicy.
Yeah, I was going to say. And I guess the people tend to, maybe a mistake people make sometimes is that they leave it in the oven too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, very nice. And then, of course, we wrap it up with the lovely sauce you did a few moments ago. And Kenson, give us the full name again of this wonderful dish.
Well, it doesn't
What would you call it? You've got a distinct name for it?
It's stuffed deboned Cornish game hen roll. If you want to impress your friends, that's the dish to go.
I'm Jim Gordon. We'll see you on the next edition of, we're calling this Pass On the Recipe. See you next time.